Yo, book nerds, I read The Second Summer of the Sisterhood by Ann Brashares. This was a reread for me. I first read it back in middle school, so it's been a long time. I'm working on a reread as part of my reading goals this year. So if you want to check out more about that, check out my reading goals video. I will say, if you have not read the first one, then you may not want to watch this video because there may be some spoilers for the first book. This is the second book in the series, so just little side note there. But if you're watching this, I'm going to assume that you want to know about the second book and have probably read the first book. So, what is this book about? We're following the four friends again, Lena, Tibby, Carmen, and Bee, or Bridget. And it is summertime again. It is the next summer. It's the summer before they are all seniors in high school. And they're all kind of going off to do their own thing again. Same as the year before, they're going to be sending the pants back and forth to each other. Tibby is going away to film school for the summer. Bee is going to visit her grandmother. And then Carmen and Lena are staying at home and working. So similar to the first book, this book has a prologue that is in first-person POV. It is in Lena's POV this time. The first book was in Carmen's POV. But then the rest of the book is in third person. So it kind of sets Lena off a little bit for this book than the others, even though they're all the main characters. This book starts with the girls not really loving the pants in the same way that they did last year. Last year, they felt so magical. They felt like they were bringing them good luck and things like that. But this year, there are some heavy memories for many of the girls hanging over them because of the pants. Memories from last summer. Tibby is reminded of Bailey. Bee is reminded of going too far with a boy last summer and it messing her up, and she's still dealing with that. Things like that. So in a sense, the pants have kind of lost some of their magic. It kind of grounds them more in reality. The pants had this mystical feel to them, like they were going to bring them good luck, but now it's not necessarily the case. They don't feel very magical anymore. You get this vibe that the girls, at least some of them, feel unworthy of the pants. That's why they're not getting the same results as last year when they wear the pants. The pants aren't giving them good things, it feels like. That's kind of where it is at the beginning of the book. The other thing with this book was it basically felt like it was each girl against their mom in some way, shape, or form. It was each girl against their mom. So Tibby is feeling very abandoned by her mom because her mom is busy with her two younger children. And so Tibby feels like, since there's this age gap, she doesn't feel important to her mom. She makes fun of her mom. It comes back to bite her, that kind of thing. Carmen is having a face-off with her mom because her mom has started to date a new guy, and Carmen is feeling jealous. She's very critical of her mother. That storyline kind of felt like it was recycled from the first book, not gonna lie, because she had similar feelings dealing with her dad being in a relationship. So this time it's her mom. Lena is facing off with her mom in the sense that her mom has a secret and Lena wants to know what it is and her mom won't share it. And then Bee, hers is a little different. So Bee's mom had actually passed away. She committed suicide when Bee was 7, 10, somewhere in there. I don't remember exactly. Bee is going to visit her grandmother and she's kind of confronting memories of her mom. She is seeing old photographs and things like that were her mom's. And she's kind of having to face what her mom was and what she went through and the fact that her mom is no longer here. So again, it's kind of each girl against their mom in some way, shape, or form. I think this book has some pluses. The writing in this book I felt was definitely better than the first book. I had some issues with the first book's writing. So I didn't feel that same thing with this book, so that was good. There was also just some scenes that were very relatable to me. There was a scene where Carmen is babysitting and these two little kids are fighting. I'm just going to read you a scene from it. "Jessie," Carmen intervened, "let Joe play with the cars." "No, they're mine." "Come on, Jessie, just give him the cars. Don't you want him to be quiet so you can hear the TV?" Carmen felt nefarious, as if she were offering him a cigarette. "No," Jessie shouted. He wrenched the car out of Joe's fat hand. Joe's cry was so passionate it made no sound. His face turned purple except for the creases around his nose and forehead, which turned greenish. "Jessie, can't you share?" Carmen begged. When Joe's cry finally picked up noise, it nearly blew the roof off. That scene of these two little siblings fighting, it was like I was watching my own children fight over a toy. It was so relatable. So I feel like Ann Brashares probably had little kids when she wrote this one and was watching them, because it felt like she was sitting in my living room. Another relatable thing for me was the secret that Lena's mom had. So if you don't want to know what it is, I'll give you a little spoiler alert right now, because you find it out at the end of the book. So, warning. But basically, I'm not going to say too much, but basically her mom was in a relationship for a long time and put a lot of effort and time and love into that relationship, and then he left her and she was heartbroken. And then she met someone new, and that relationship was the best thing that ever happened to her. And then looking back, she would never take that guy back that hurt her so bad. And she put way too much work into a relationship that wasn't meant for her and that wasn't good for her. And she would never go back, and that basically that guy was a loser. Like, that was very relatable to me. I've been through the same thing. I put way too much time and effort into a relationship. They hurt me really bad, and now I'm with Taylor and he treats me amazingly, and I would never ever go back to what I was in before. And so like that heartbreak, and then the realization that that's not the end of the world and there is way better out there, that was so relatable to me. Some other things with this: it has the same issue as the first book. Kostos is still here, so it's an illegal relationship because he is 19, 20, somewhere in there, and Lena is 16, almost 17, but still, like, I don't like the relationship. But I will give this book props because it kind of destroys that relationship. So Kostos had been depicted as this great guy, almost too perfect. Well, he was too perfect, as it turns out. And he breaks Lena's heart, and he makes excuses that are more for his benefit than for her benefit. And I got the sense that, like, he is being kind of manipulative because he's not giving Lena any power or voice, and he does things for himself and not for her. And so whether he was intentionally being manipulative or not is debatable, but he was still manipulating her, and I didn't like him at all. And he keeps saying that he's a gentleman, he's a gentleman, he's a gentleman, except for the fact that this gentleman cannot man up and tell Lena what's actually going on. He can't man up and just be honest with her. He's not a gentleman, we'll put it that way. I don't like him. Another thing, I get the sense that Bea and her mom may be bipolar. It's not stated outright, but that was the vibe that I was getting, was that they were, at least her mom especially, maybe they were bipolar. So I don't know if that was the intention of the author, and I don't know much about being bipolar, so I don't know if it's depicted accurately or not, so I will just say that. But I was left wondering that. But overall, though, I will say this book had some good themes. I will give it that. Themes like life goes on, time heals, heartbreak and pain don't last forever. Those were all good themes, and they were explored well. this was a reread and I didn't remember it at all, like at all. The book was not memorable. The writing was good, like it did its job. The book did its job. I was entertained. I didn't hate the book. I thought it was good. I was entertained. I was enjoying it while I read it. But it just did its job. It didn't really give me anything that will make me remember it and make me go, oh, this is like the best book ever. Like, no, it just does its job. Like it was good. Not the best book in the world, not the worst book by any means, but it does its job. It was entertaining. It's not super memorable, and that's probably why I don't remember it from when I was in middle school when I read it. It's just what it is. But let me know your thoughts on it if you've read it. Like I said, I didn't hate the book, so I am continuing on with the third book in the series, which is Girls in Pants, the third summer of the Sisterhood. This is also a reread, but again, I don't really remember anything from it. So we're gonna see what happens. That's all I have for you guys today. Hit that like button and subscribe, and I will talk to you next Monday. Thanks for talking books with me.